Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. I'm just waiting for Julian. He should be here in a minute. Where are you, mate? Are you there, pal? Are you there, mate? Shouldn't be 2 seconds. What's been going on in the sport of boxing today? Look. Hello, Julian. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I should have my face covered up now, mate, shouldn't I? The shame of coming back on, but we couldn't resist this one, could we?
Where's the B sample?
Where's the new sample?
Well, if Dylan White's failed the
like
test, and he looks like he has done it, right? This is how I look at it. Is Eddie going to come out, right, and defend him? Well, no, it looks like they're throwing him under a bus, doesn't it, straight away? They've not tried to get the show, keep the show on, have they? But he's defended Conor Benn, but they're throwing him under bus. But he's a three-time cheat, isn't he, now? Am I right?
Right. Well, I mean, first of all, I'll just say you like Colonel Parker bringing me on for one more comeback, aren't you? So we just had an offline exchange, didn't we? Say, come on, we got to do this one. Jules, you've been waiting 2 years for this one. We've got to do it right. So I'm back. I'm rubbish. I'm garbage, right? I'm not a man of my word. Fair enough.
Got something
right?
to talk about.
So, first of all, Eddie said, I can't pull shows. It's down to the British Boxing Board of Control to pull a show. With the Conor Benn fight, it wasn't down to him, and etc. He didn't have that power. Yeah. So as he changed contracts, or has Eddie pulled the show? Because it sounds like Matchroom has said the show is off. Have the board pulled it? Has Eddie pulled it? As you've just said, have we got different? I mean, we don't know much right now, right? Yeah. Have we got different circumstances for fighters who Matchroom no longer really treat as the A side? I don't know, mate. Look, all we know right now, and I've had this news about 6 minutes, is Dillian White is living proof. If you let a drug cheat back into boxing, at some point they're going to pop again. And that's what he's done.
Well, they think they're that big that they can do what they want. Who's going to stop us now? We're going to do what we want because we've got Matchroom behind us and all these legal people. They did it before with Oscar Rivers. And do you know what? It's 4 years and a month, innit, since that fight, innit? And he's done again. And it were about that same time before when he got done, wasn't it? Similar.
Right, listen. What we know, Russell, is this. Analytical findings with VADA. So obviously it's testing, is popped again. We don't know what for, but what we can assume safely is he hasn't tested for cocodamol or anodine extra, has he? No. Because they've scrapped the show. So he's popped for something that's a banned substance. So that's what we know. That's a good assumption to make. We also know that this is another Matchroom headliner that's busted. We know that. And we know, as we've said, it's a proven one-time drug cheat. We don't know about the second one because there was so many grey areas and so much subterfuge around that. But we know he's busted again. So how dirty is this sport that I've literally can no longer watch anymore?
Right. It's right. But it's what we don't know. How many people have tested that we don't know about? Because now it looks like they're throwing them under the bus now if they're testing. They don't want to know, do they?
There are certain gyms in London where the fighters look like Mr. Universe competitors. They've got unnatural power, literally shredded. They've got brutal knockout, one-punch knockout power all the way across that gym, all across the weights. One of those fighters might just have had a suspension lifted. We know there are gyms where people are only fighting once or twice a year. Why are they fighting once or twice a year? Is it because that? Yeah, well, we're making assumptions, aren't we? We have to make assumptions, but these are assumptions based on information that we know, based on history that has proven the case. And it's a filthy, dirty sport, mate. And it's embarrassing. And ultimately, right, this is not Eddie's fault. So before anybody thinks this is hammering Eddie, this is JULIAN White who was popped, nobody else. But if you don't have stronger, more stringent testing and you don't have more severe penalties for fighters, the problem's going to get worse and worse and worse, and people are just walking away from boxing. Anybody says you're back on Jules, you're back on McGowan, you know, you and I chat every day. I haven't looked at boxing for a week. I've not seen anything, done anything. I don't have any news.
In an hour, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going on holiday soon, mate. I'm in a group with my family, my brother, my son, nephew, and all of a sudden one of them just put the link up and just said, JULIAN White's been busted again. And I'm like, I just laughed, and then you and I had a bit of an exchange, and we just says, how bad is it, Russell? How bad is it?
Listen, this is bad for them because if they pulled the show, right, they'll have paid for that'll all have been paid for because what we're on it's next week's fight week, Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
So are they going to rescue the show? Are they going to bump Chisora up to fight with Joshua? They'll try and save the show because they'll have had to pay out, won't they, for Arena? Do you remember like they did with Golovkin and Eubank? They wanted to save that, but this is like a disaster now, isn't it really? Eddie's
you would listen. You defend drug cheats. You have drug cheats, and JULIAN White is a drug cheat. He had a 2-year ban.
He's a free-time drug cheat. I want to see a life ban.
Yeah.
If anything, there's a life ban. This is it. But what about all these YouTubers? Hey, Coogan and all the rest of them. Are you going to ask your big mate, JULIAN White, about cheating? Because he was cheating when he beat Dave Allen.
Drug cheat. 3-time drug cheat. All right. Sue us for saying something. He's, like I said, he's a definite 1-time drug cheat. There's really a load of clouds around the 2nd time. And now he's popped for the 3rd time. So maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it's a fertility drug that he's popped for. Do you know what I mean? Come on. Wake up, everybody. Wake up to what's going on.
Not even a Brit, mate. Time to
get. Do you know what it is, Russell, right? I've no sympathy for Eddie Hearn, right? Because if you are putting people who have previously popped for drugs on your shows, on your headliners, you deserve everything you get.
Yeah,
because you showed bad judgment. You need to put some clean athletes in your main events. You did it, right, with Gerald Miller. And Andy Ruiz ended up jumping in and knocking out your golden goose, all right? You've done it once before. You showed poor judgment there by even having Gerald Miller anywhere near a boxing ring. And you've done it again with JULIAN White, and you've got to show now what's in bits. It's your own fault because you protect drug cheats and you promote drug cheats and you defend drug cheats unless it suits you. So don't expect the sympathy of boxing public. None.
Yeah, well, I'm calling for JULIAN White. JULIAN White, you're a multimillionaire. You don't even pay. Listen, you're not a Brit. You're from Jamaica. You pay no tax over here. You're in Portugal as a tax exile, mate. So you get your tax. So you come into England and you take pay-per-view money and fans' money, and then you go. But you're 3-time drug cheat. Get gone out of the sport. Who's going to put you on a show again? You're like the Gerald Miller. Now, he's failed 3 times, Danny Miller. So he's in the Miller League now, isn't he? Povetkin, JULIAN White.
It doesn't matter.
Povetkin, JULIAN White, Miller. James Toney, he's been on Eddie's shows. Who else has been on Eddie's show? Enzo Macronelli failed one as well, didn't he? You can go on forever, can't you, with all these cheats?
How do they think the likes of JULIAN White, who's old and shot to bits, gets in shape? How do they think they get in shape? Is everybody just doing that and turning a blind eye and blocking their ears from it? Or are they actually really surprised by what's come out today? Are you surprised by this?
No, I'm not surprised, to be honest. No, I'm not. But I didn't think he'd fail again. But I'm not surprised that somebody on that show has. And I thought after that B sample carry on, I mean, we never really got to hear to hear the end of that last one, did we? All sort of like conveniently went missing, didn't it? But now, can you imagine all
Maybe put some screenshot on. Yeah.
Thomas Hauser.
Eddie put,
He's going to be on this, isn't he? Thomas Hauser, Dan Rayfield. But what about the Gad and all that shower? What are they going to say now? Hey, you've got to come out now, haven't you, Gad? Hey, have you had a shower, Dylan? You need to come out, you. All these media people now. Yeah, you all look stupid now, don't you? Hey, lot of yous. Cesspit.
And they'll all be sat on the fence saying, well, we don't know what he's popped for. We don't know what's got. Let's wait
Johnny
and see
Fisher.
what
Johnny Fisher. Who's that other one? Who are the Julian? These fence sitters. You ask them a question, they've got splinters in their arse, haven't they? The Gad, Johnny Fisher. It's Big Freeze.
It's terrible.
I've just seen an interview. It's Big Freeze, and every question he's asked about Conor Benn or Tyson Fury, I'm going, splinters in their arseholes. But let's see now what they're going to say. Splinter men. Sorry for ranting off.
It's embarrassing, and you're not ranting, mate. Listen, I'm frustrated. I'm just not watching this stuff now. We're having a bit of a joke saying, I'm back on for one night only, but I'm sickened by boxing. Everybody who put such nice comments in about when I said I'm done, really lovely comments, and I'm touched by that. But we're sickened by it, aren't we? It's sick. We're laughing, but we're laughing because it's incredulous. But we're sickened by how dirty this sport is, and by everybody's. Listen, he's a proven drugs cheat, and you continue to promote him. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen at some point down the line when he needs to shed a couple of stone, when he's recovering from an injury, when he can't get in the proper shape he needs to be? What do you think's going to happen? What do you think he's doing to get in shape? Are these people stupid?
You know what, right? Last night I was bored, right? And I found a picture on my computer, and it was from Robin Reed's son, what Robin Reed has sent me, and it was a picture. Did you see what I sent you? Them boxing rings. It was Easter about 5 years ago, and it said on it, Eggy Hearn. I sent you it, didn't I? Happy Easter or something. And it were 2 boxing rings, and there were chocolate eggs and all that, and it said Eggy Hearn. And do you know what I said? I sent it to Eddie Hearn in an email. I said, hey, Eddie, that just about sums you up, doesn't it, in the last 12 months? Eggy Hearn. It were a 5-year-old picture from Oscar Reed. And then what we've got here, 12 hours later. Look, what is it going to be now? Eggs and battering down the hatches and high-powered lawyers. Listen, I don't think Eddie's got enough strength in him to go through that for another 12 months. I think they're just going to go, do you know what? There's a problem. Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah. But he's got a problem now because he's still been incredibly elusive when asked about Conor Benn apparently getting crappy and shirty with people, because we know that Conor Benn's been cleared of nothing. We know there's been a suspension lifted. As I said over a week ago, predicted it before even the details come out. I said Benn won't have been cleared. There'll be a technicality around it. The fact that they've lifted the suspension will mean that UCAD didn't follow a protocol or didn't have jurisdiction. It'll be just as simple as that. We know what was in his samples. A sample, B sample, times 2. He's got 4 failed tests. We know he's got 4 failed tests, and we know the argument from the Dream Team number 2 was jurisdiction. That was published in the Daily Mail. Everybody knew. Well, he got sacked. Well, because the Dream Team number 1, they did the 270-page document that just was actually it's no good. Forget that. We'll use that for firewood. So they come up with a different argument, which was you don't have jurisdiction to ban him or suspend him because actually UCAD act on behalf of the British Boxing Board of Control. He wasn't a licensed boxer at the time of the failed test. His license had expired. Although what I will also say is it's interesting that Conor Benn's license had expired. How very convenient. It's the same lack of administration for such a thorough athlete, whereas they didn't see the email when he had to enroll in the WBC's clean boxing program. So for someone who's an elite athlete, he's got very, very poor administration people around him. So you didn't enroll for the clean boxing program and you forgot to renew your license. Why did you forget to renew your British Boxing Board of Control license? Did you think, do you know what? Just in case something comes out, just in case what I know I'm putting into my body, I've been advised to don't renew your license until we get the results of the tests. Maybe I'm just speculating.
You know, let me just stop you there. Do you know when you go into a promoter's office, right? Whoever fighters that they manage, right, or promote, or whatever, there's a board, right, and it might say Dennis's, whatever. Tommy Frank, February 15th, license due. So you'll know to get ready for that at Christmas, you know, the fee and all that and what has to be done. Liam Cameron, Clinton Woods, whatever. Charlie Sims will have the same one in his office. He'll have an office and it'll say Conor Ben or Felix Cash or whoever, license due. It won't be Conor Ben that deals with that. He's got bigger things to do with that. He's a big star and he don't want a belt, but he's this big star. Dylan White's not what. Sorry, Dylan White has a vacant British against Ian Lewinson, doesn't he? 20 stoner. Right. So Dylan White, we're all getting bent out of shape here. Conor Ben ain't got a belt. Dylan White won a vacant British years ago against Ian Lewinson, who were 20 stone. And that's it. That's the Conor Ben and Dylan White story. So why are we all getting bent out of shape out of it? Because they've given such this big platform. IFL, if you saw that interview Coogan did a few months ago, and he went on about his friends in boxing who he trusts. Joshua, Eddie, Dylan White, Conor Ben, Tyson Fury, Dave Allen, Billy Joe Saunders. That's 7 people. All them do views. Is Coogan Cassius friends with any journeymen or people that don't do views? No, these people about money and cheating and conning the public with fake accounts. Coogan Cassius, 820,000 subscribers. He's averaging 16,000 a video. Go check it out. So where's the other 804,000 people? They don't fucking exist. They're in his head. They're all cheating, man. It's
don't exist, man.
30,000 people a month buy Ring Magazine, the Bible for boxing. It's an underground sport. 60,000 buy that fishing magazine. So that tells you where boxing is. So how are these people got 800? Eddie's just 500,000 subscribers on Matchroom Boxing. That Conor Ben thing he did the other day didn't know hardly any views. It's conning the public, and they've been doing it for that long now. They're all getting found out, and I look like Superman today. Pop, pop, fucking poppity pop.
And this is what Steve Bunn said, didn't he, about Tyson Fury's Instagram? He goes, people aren't watching him. What? Look at the views now compared to the views 5 years ago. People aren't watching this stuff. And that list of names you've just mentioned, Coogan Cassius as mates who we trust, half of them you wouldn't let near your medicine cabinet, would you?
Would I, Chup? I won't let you what? All that lot won't get through my front door. That includes Dave Allen as well. He won't get through my front door, him. Because we know what happened with him when he got with Eddie, don't we? Yeah. Soon come running back to Dennis, though, didn't you? Pop, pop, fucking bang. Hey? Listen,
it's bad.
Half of them don't give a shit about anybody except themselves. They give a shit about nobody.
Oh, greedy selfish bastards, a lot.
A lot of them, mate. I don't get... Listen, you know, this morning I went out with my dog and I got a camera on. I've got there's something being done, put together by a camera and that. And don't worry about Roxy's decided to dive in this river. I've had to go get her. Big, massive puddle river thing. Like, wait, what's it come to her? So I've thrown it back, she's shivering. I'm walking back and I thought, I've just had about 9,500 minutes with my dogs and doing a bit of film. And I'm happy with that, me, you know. I'm happy with that because normally I'd just be getting up one at 8 o'clock in the morning. Or, sorry, just going to bed, you know, at that time in the morning, wouldn't I? So I'm happy with that, and I don't take drugs no more. I've never took performance enhancing drugs like them, but drugs are for mugs and boozers are not cruisers. I'm done with it, but they can't be done with it because they have to be in the public eye. Cheating the public. And what about all them people that have paid for London? Yet again, Eddie's next big show.
Who cares?
All them people, and I've got friends going down on a minibus from Mexborough, you know, to watch that. I wonder what they're thinking now. They're all booked in at this hotel. I think they got a deal actually. It was about 58 quid a night. 58 quid a night. But at the end of the day, right,
this is disastrous for Matchroom. Disastrous.
Massive. It's massive. It's massive.
Massive.
But good luck to them. Good luck to all them fans that have gone down there that they can get something going that weekend. Because I feel sorry for them. But you know what? It's 2 black eyes for Matchroom after the Conor Ben situation and now White. He'll have to crawl away. Well, let me tell you this. Eddie will throw him under a bus now because he's got to do after all this Conor Ben thing.
He has to.
They're
He
gonna
has
they're
to.
gonna say, hey Eddie, there's a problem here. Houston, we have a problem, and there's a massive problem now. And Dylan White, it caused it all himself, and then they're all gonna say, well, Eddie, he's failed 2 tests before. One before you signed him and one before Rivers fight. And cheat, look, if you're a cheat, you're a cheat, aren't you? If you're gonna cheat, you're gonna cheat.
But as we said, I'll say the same point. You can't expect anything less at some point of someone who's previously been banned for performance-enhancing drugs. At some point, is going to do it again. It's as simple as that, right? And you've put him on a headline show because you thought you could get away with getting AJ a soft touch fight. All right, a big rematch trilogy if you want to include the amateur fight. You've put a cynical fight on there against the guy who's shot to bits, who's been knocked out cold in 2 of his last 4 fights, and you think you're clever getting away with it, and you know what he's capable of doing. You've got to know, and I'm not talking just Eddie, Matchroom, Frank Smith, everybody. You have to know how this guy gets in shape. You have to know what fighters do when they're old and the bones are creaking and they're injured and they can't go through the normal routines they could go through in the 20s. What do you think these people take to get into fighting condition when they're in the mid to late 30s? What do you think they take? Are people just stupid? You know, it's like, listen, I'm 50, I'm 52, Russell, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm riddled with arthritis. I have turmeric, I have cocodamol, I have this, I have that. I'm not even training. When I was 30-year-old, I was diagnosed with a condition on my spine, right? I still train, I still do what I can, but I was diagnosed with various things. And since I've been 30, the arthritis has increased. I've had operations on my shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm rattling how much medication I take. You know, strong stuff, painkillers, you name it, herbals, multivitamins. I take everything I can to just get out of bed. How do they think these athletes in the 30s who have put their bodies through 20 years of brutal combat sports and they've had injuries, bad injuries, and they're getting battered about by every single night in the gym, how do they think they get in shape? They're taking all sorts. They're taking stuff for strength so they can train harder. They're taking stuff to get over recoveries. There's a lot of performance-enhancing drugs people take so they can train while they're injured. They're all at it. And more people are going to start busting because they're going to get smarter with the testing. They're going to start widening the testing and looking at other things because they're finding out now, it's like everything. It's the cheats are always half a step in front of the testing agencies, like criminals are always half a step in front of the police. Well, but at some point, they're not now, are they? And technology takes over. Yeah, you know, so it's.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just saying, this is massive, and this is your second show in under a year you've had to scrap because of a drugs bust.
You know, I'm going to milk the fuck out this, don't you? All you Porky followers, I'm going to be all over this for a week now, so get ready. And let me just say this to you.
And anybody now has a go at you, and anybody who's having these sending vile emails saying it's not Eddie who's busted. Why are you targeting Matchroom? You're targeting Matchroom because you're promoting drug cheats.
There's an issue with every Matchroom.
This is an issue because you don't have a zero tolerance with drug cheats.
Let me just tell you, right, a boxer's diet. I know what Frotcher's diet was. Run in the morning, then porridge, then a kip, then train, then something light, you know, like a bit of baked potato, bit of tuna out in a tin, bit of salad. On an evening, up here at Ellaby Hall, I've got a photograph. I used to go up. I've seen him up there. Sea bass and asparagus, big bottle of water, and then to bed. In bed for 9 o'clock. I said, God, it's not very exciting, like, is it? You know, seeing him get out of his car after an hard day's training, big bag of all this stuff, umping it through them swivel doors at Ellaby. I say, all right, where's the entourage? I've said this before, and he's like, why do I need to pay people to carry a bag? I'm only walking from there to here, and upstairs I'm an athlete, aren't I? Then come downstairs, sea bass asparagus, and he's like that. We've got 45 minutes, Big P. Then he's in bed. And I said, what you eating? What you, and that's it. This is pretty simple. I said, don't you bother with any supplements or why do you need that? Everything you need is from the earth, vegetables, organic,
natural products,
fish, bit of tuna, oats with your porridge, cups of green tea, loads of water. Chris Eubank Jr. is the same as well, you know. He's the same diet. Christopher Eubank Jr., the same diet as his dad. But all these looking for an edge. You remember my video over there when I said get all these strength and conditioners and nutrition men, get them run out of boxing because they're getting in fighters' heads, telling them they need an edge. Look, it's boxing. It's a simple game. Hit somebody and don't get hit. Go to bed early at night. Get up early. Do your training. Go rest. Train, rest, eat correctly, Julian. Am I right? When you had Gary Sykes, right? Gary Sykes could have been an 800-meter runner, couldn't it? Everybody knows that, don't they? He was two-man money for 800 meters, right? Gary Sykes could have been a runner, you know, like a middle distance runner. You never messed about with like that, did you?
He'd been top class.
Eh?
It'd have been top class, and I know what Sykes used to eat and drink because for 6 or 7 weeks
he wasn't brain of Britain, was it? He wasn't looking for an edge, was it? He weren't the brain of Britain. You kept it pretty simple, didn't you? This is what you eat. This is when you rest. This is when you go to sleep. Eat, sleep, train. It's not rocket science, is it? But you get all these people, like Mark Tibbs said to me the other day, they're walking about with spreadsheets. Russell, he said, Russell, geezer came up to me, gives me a spreadsheet. I'm like, what's that? Imagine, hey, Dad, what do you think? Imagine Jimmy Tibbs being handed a spreadsheet. Yeah.
I always said the same thing when I used to see fighters on Instagram with heart monitors and patches here and patches there, and 15 people stood around them on a treadmill. Oh my God! I'm like, listen, do you know what? Do you know how I used to know when Sykes were ready? Because he would pair like a motor car. We'd have put the work in. We'd have done everything right. He'd be in shape. He'd be ready. And I just listened to him on the bag, and I could just hear him rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. His breathing was good. I'd use my eyes and my ears and my experience to know when he was ready, to know when to ease off a little session, to know when to push him a little bit more. I'd use all that stuff. I didn't need no bloody 16 people around me and bloody patches and data spreadsheets and graphs and all this nonsense.
So Brotcher's running in the morning. He used to do it. He used to do it with a kid called Adam, right? He's run. He'd have a diary, Carl. His spreadsheets, Porky. Got a diary here. And I'll jot it down. And on a Monday, if I run 6 miles in 36 minutes, I'm happy. On a Tuesday, if it's 36 minutes, 15 seconds, I'm like, the next day, I'll get that 15 seconds back off that other one. And he'd battle against his diary all the time. He don't need somebody to be with a stopwatch because he's got it on his wrist, hasn't he? Why are you paying people to go like that on a watch and write something down? Get rid of these strength and condition and nutrition men. Your trainer is the man you listen to. Your fucking trainer.
Can't remember who it was, but Gabriel Montoya was talking about someone who's an expert in performance clubs. Well, Gabriel Montoya said, the guy who was talking about said, if you get rid of strength and conditioners in boxing, you get rid of the problem of PEDs. Because these are the only ones. The truth is, right, if someone said to me, the boxers you've trained over years, get them on PEDs, I wouldn't have known which ones. What kind of PEDs are there? You know, I wouldn't have known what they did and what was needed. I'd have no idea. Boxers don't have no idea. Conor Ben really wouldn't have been that clued up on what was going to be good for him or what was going to be not good for him. Or what
somebody's giving me. He's not smart enough.
Someone's advised him and said, that's when you take it, that's when you stop taking it, that's what you replace it with, and that's when you come off it. So there's absolutely no way that boxers and most traditional trainers, like you talked about, you sit down with Jimmy Tibbs and you ask him about PEDs, right? He'll give you a little bit of information, what he knows, a bit like me. But if you sit him down with someone who actually knows this stuff, a strength conditioning guy who's done PhDs and level 3s, etc., they know about this stuff. The Jimmy Tibbs wouldn't know. He'd be like, I wouldn't know what to give my fighters. I wouldn't do it anyway, but I wouldn't have a clue.
Could you imagine in Charlie Magri when Jimmy had Charlie Magri? Yeah, Charlie, we're going to take PEDs. They're like, what's that? What? They wouldn't even know what it were back then, would they? 40 years ago.
What it was, they wouldn't know how to take it. Do you know where PEDs are dirty, right? PEDs are dirty where they're basically bodybuilding gyms and strength gyms and all these gyms where people train. They're all dirty. You can smell the gear when you go in them. And these are all the people who's been asked to strengthen boxers. Can you put this guy on this program? Can you get this guy more explosive strength? Can you do this? Can you do that? These are the ones who are doing it, right? It's not your traditional boxing trainers and your boxers, because we're not knowledgeable enough about it. We don't know enough about it. It's coming from them. So, but you're taking it, you're doing it, but you always get busted. But it's a good concept. What I always think when people say, ban the whole team, just to remove doubt, say, if the fighter gets banned, ban the strength conditioner, ban the nutritionist, ban the dietitian, ban the head coach, ban the assistant coach. Right, that's 5 people. 3 of those people might not know what's going on, but the only way to remove it is to get rid of them all, and a new brush sweeps clean and all that. And it's dirty. It's disappointing. It's not surprising. And I'm sure, again, one of my predictions again, I'm sure they're going to minimize this and say, well, actually, it was this. And he had a really bad cold and he was getting over the flu and he took it and it was given by a doctor and we thought he'd be all right. They'll minimize this, and there'll be people saying on your channel in 3 weeks, you got it in for Dillian White, you got it in for Eddie. It was only this, it was only that. It's a banned substance. And generally a banned substance, what fighters pop for, is covering up something a little bit more sinister, as we know with clomiphene.
I wonder what Big Malk and Tundi and all that little show around there, that little group of band of brothers, should we say? I wonder what they're going to say now. Is Big Malk going to come out and say, Oscar Ritzfield says, oh no, Anthony Joshua says, is he going to come out and say that? Big Malk, are you going to defend the brother?
3rd time, mate. It's the 3rd time.
Not 1.
3rd time.
2, but 3. It's a Ted Rogers job, isn't it? 3, 2, 1. Ted Rogers.
It's a 3-2-1, and there'll be people now who say that he's not as bad as Gerald Miller. You tell me the difference.
He failed 3 tests as well, didn't he? He's failed 3.
And people said he was the most despicable drug cheat going.
What will Tony Bellew say? Tony the Bell End Bellew, what are you going to say now about your man, Dillian White?
And what about
actually,
you have to feel in some way for AJ, because do you know what? He should have really gotten a different fight, a different route. He's been really said, come on, this is a great fight. It's an easy fight, big money. But once again, you know, we did say, didn't we? He wouldn't fight 3 times this year.
Listen, if Joshua don't
remember this, three times he'll fight this. I mean, this is not his fault, but you know, maybe.
You know, somebody sent me a text and they've gone, Eddie's done that so they could park Joshua up waiting for the Saudi money. And I thought, you know, how twisted that is. Eddie would love that going out there. They want it to clear White. White's going to turn around and say, dark forces, you know, like that guy at Sky, Andy Gray and that Richard Key, dark forces were at force behind the scenes. Listen, Dillian White, is he going to play race card? You never know, do you? What are they going to come out with now? Victimize. Everybody's a victim.
People are going to.
One thing we're not going to
do you know what? No drugs cheat. No drugs cheats ever done it, have they? It's never been done, has it?
You've took the words right out of my mouth. No drug sheets ever come out and
like you said,
it's a fair cop, Gov. I'm guilty as sin. Guilty as sin.
Like you said when you were inside. Everyone's innocent in prison, aren't they? Everybody.
Yeah, everybody innocent in there except me. I said, I'm not. I'm guilty.
You admitted it.
I'm guilty.
You're on camera.
I'm guilty as sin. But what can you do? You know what? In a way,
you can look like a man. That's what
Julian, it's karma.
It's karma. It's karma because do you know what? I'm laughing because I actually think it's funny and I shouldn't do.
I feel for Dave Allen and all this, you know. I feel for Dave Allen because he fought Dillian, he fought Yoka, and you know, I feel for Dave Allen. Me, I do. I feel for him.
I feel for people, but listen, it's like we've said. You've spent the Matchroom machine. Obviously, must have known about the first Conor Ben test back in July, so that's a year ago, right? Yeah. So the Matchroom machine I've known about this for a year with Conor Benn. And all of a sudden, they've defended Conor Benn. And whilst he might not have a promotional contract with Matchroom, he will have a one-fight promotional contract for this fight with Dillian Whyte. And once again, a Matchroom headliner who was previously first time had a 2-year ban, got away with it the second time. It's happened a third time. And I'm repeating myself, but it doesn't matter because the point is you promote a guy who's previously been dirty. What do you expect?
Exactly. Pop, pop, bang, you've popped.
Done.
And I don't know what's going to happen to Dillian Whyte now, but they ain't going to deal with Matchroom, and I think they'll wash their hands of him now. I think they'll say, you know what? He's done. They'll try and rescue the show, I think. But who could they put Joshua in with now that the fans are buy into?
I don't think they can rescue this.
It's only Chisora, isn't it, really? Chisora.
Well, we found out through Tyson Fury having to fight Ngannou, there's no other boxers available in the world right now, are there?
What?
So Eddie's going to have the same problem Tyson Fury had. There's no one around at all. No one's willing to fight big name fighters.
Well, I think they'll park him up and let him take a hit on this match, but they've got to be out of their minds. Are they going to sue Dillian Whyte?
Do you know what I want to know? I've got a question for you. Have I become Porky's Corners, Tony Bellew, the disappearing man? Because the last video, I said, I'm done. You'll never see me again.
You're the reappearing man, aren't you? No, you've come back because I said to you, Julian, you called this 2 years ago. So listen, yeah, the B sample went missing, but if White's a cheat, he'll always be a cheat with your words, and he will pop soon. And he's popped. And I said, Julian, come on, you can bask in your glory. You're not basking. You said, I don't want to bask. But you were right. Once a cheat, always a cheat. And I never thought White had. I thought he had a close shave with that other one where they got him away from scene and all that, didn't they? But he was guilty, wasn't he? He's popped.
Desperation.
Oh, fuck him.
Money, it's big fight.
Right, they're going to get out this one. They're going to spin now. They're going to blame on this one now. Is he going to say that Wesley Snipes, his fake brother, did he spike him? We've had that one with Galahad, haven't we? Well, who's going to take the hit for this? Hey, pop, pop, bang. Pop, pop, poppity pop.
It's awful, isn't it? It's actually awful, mate. It's oh dear. Anybody who's watching this six were laughing. We're laughing because it's just ridiculous.
Listen, I wanted Group to cave in on lots of them. Nobody to get it, but I wanted it all to piss it down. I wanted him to cancel the show. I wanted some lunatic to go running around and shut the place down so it couldn't happen. I love it when people I don't like have a fall. Too right, I do. They've been abusing boxing fans for years. So
yeah, they have. Yeah,
they don't care for us. They don't care for boxing fans, Julian. 27 quid for that pile of shit anyway. Campbell
the little group I'm in now.
Hands of foam. Johnny Pitt.
My phone's on fire. Big Richard's messaged me. My phone's on fire. My mates are all saying the same thing. You know, they're all saying the same. They're just going absolutely awful.
Yeah, good.
Good. What an effing joke. Effing disgrace. Dog shit. Big baby Miller Mark 2. These are the messages I'm getting, mate. These are the messages I'm getting now, mate. And oh,
can you do, Julian? What can you do, Julian? Julian.
Hey, I'll take everything I take for my arthritis is all over. It's all over the mate. I'm clean. I'm a clean arthritic.
If you're going to cheat, mate. You're going to cheat, aren't you? Nobody's going to stop. If you're a cheat, you're a cheat, aren't you? If you cheat on your missus or your friends, if you're going to cheat on your wife or your mates, so he's a cheat, right? You've only got to look at him and say, look, he even looks like a cheat. You won't trust him as far as you could throw him. He's a cheat and he's a bully. White, you're a cheat and a bully. You try and bully your son around YouTubers, get everybody on edge like Big John Fury. Bullies don't prosper. They come a cropper. You've come a cropper now, and it might even cost you because they might even sue you that lot, you know. They've got grounds to sue them now, Matchroom, you know. I'm telling you, they need something in the contract, so if they cheat, they can sue them. He's going to plead innocence. Oh, it wasn't me, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. He's going to do a shaggy. It wasn't me, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. He's going to do a shaggy, mate. That's what he's going to do. A shaggy.
People might believe you once. People might believe you once. They might believe you a second time if they're a bit stupid or a bit of a fan, but they won't, no one will believe you a third time.
No, look, 20 seconds left.
Doesn't matter now. Right, final thing. It doesn't matter now if he gets banned for life, mate, because he's at an age and he's earned his money and he's squeezed it out of boxing. And you know, shame for all the undercard fighters, shame for people who bought tickets, absolutely shame for all those camps. But you've put a known drug cheat on a headline show. Don't act a victim, Eddie. Frank Smith, do not act a victim the next couple of weeks, mate. You've done it to yourselves, and I've got no sympathy.
And peace out. Pop, pop, bang.